Albert. It is wintertime, which means trade rumors are swirling around baseball free agency. Where will Shohei Ohtani, your boy, end up? But locally in Toronto, a lot of interesting news this week. Their best player, Bichette, has been in talks with trade conversations with teams like the Cubs. Albert, I got to ask you this. Are the Blue Jays actually legitimately going to consider trading Bichette, or is this just the dead of the winter and rumors are just starting up?
Yeah, we'll always hear these rumors. I don't believe this for a second. And let's talk about the origin of these rumors. It came from a local Toronto Blue Jays podcast, I think independent media. I'm not going to mention the name of it. And then it just snowballed from there because John Morosi, who's a well-known Major League Baseball reporter, quote tweeted it and said, I mentioned this last year that Bichette could be traded. And if he does get traded, this is where they lost me completely. If he does get traded to the Cubs, it's for him to play third base for the Cubs. A shortstop playing third base. I don't think he's ever played third base. Maybe a couple games here and there for the Blue Jays, but I don't believe it. Do I think the Jays would trade Bichette? I think so. I know that's crazy to say because he's one of the best hitters in baseball. Defensively, he improved this season at the shortstop position. But I just wonder if management aren't happy with his performances in the postseasons. Most notably this past postseason, which he wasn't great. Some bad judgment on base running. It wasn't just him. Vladdy made some issues. I can't stop thinking about Vladdy getting picked off at second base. But big time at bats and striking out and not coming up in the clutch when they need their best players to do so. But you can say the same thing for Vladdy. And we keep hearing rumors as well about the Jays want to make a major move. I still believe they actually will make a move. Do I think it's Bichette being traded to the Cubs for what? How do you make the Blue Jays better with a trade to the Cubs? Unless you're trading Bichette to the Cubs for some sort of package that you're going to flip in return with another. I don't know. I just don't know how that would work. You are a Blue Jays team who are in win now mode. Acquiring pieces from the Cubs is not going to make you better, especially when you're subtracting arguably the best hitter in the American League.
Could it be a salary dump for a potential mega offer for Shohei Ohtani? Look, Rogers.
I'll tell you why. Because hold on, I'll tell you why. Because I'm Shohei Ohtani.
Finish what I was about to say.
Okay.
Look, Rogers, is notoriously being kind of cheap with the Jays, right? They're just spending.
They got the money.
They're just spending a whole lot of money on renovating the ballpark, and we know that if you bring in Ohtani, season ticket sales go up.
Okay.
Right? So maybe you dump the Bichette money. You can pay a little bit more for Ohtani. No. You know you're going to get more people in the seats, more exposure, more maybe potential sponsorship ability, more viewership.
Right.
I'm just saying it could be something like that. It could be a business move where you subtract your team, but you get this big star attraction that's going to put butts in the seats.
Pooni. You know this. Nobody wants Ohtani more on the Toronto Blue Jays than me. I love this guy. He may be my favorite athlete going at the moment. Tiger Woods is up there, but Ohtani may have usurped him. If you're Shohei Ohtani and your pitch to him is, hey, we're going to trade our best player away to make room to bring you in. Ohtani's going to be like, why would I come to the Toronto Blue Jays if you're trading away Bichette? It makes absolutely no sense. And as much as I'd want him here, let's say they can pull it off even with Bichette, I just don't understand paying somebody $50 million who can only play one position for at least the first season, because the Jays still need pitching. Manoah is not a sure thing for next year, so you might have to make a trade and acquire somebody. And with that $50 million in salary, you can acquire 2 to 3 players who can. Okay, if you're looking at wins above replacement, which I keep hearing about, and Ohtani's the best of the bunch. I believe so. It's either him or
that's why he's the greatest player of all time, right?
But you can acquire a couple of players to make up that gap. You don't need the best player in the world to win a World Series. We've seen that. Would it be nice? Absolutely. Can you, if you were to get Ohtani for $50 million a year and he's coming in immediately, he's your ace and your number one batter, okay, you're getting 2 players for that $50 million. It makes complete sense. But this offseason, you're paying $50 million for 1 player. You still need pitching. You got to figure out the Matt Chapman situation, and reports are that there might be a deal between the two, which I'm not completely happy about. Love his glove at third base. That bat is not great. Don't want him. So they still got to pay some players. They still got to fill some holes. And by trading Bichette and bringing in Ohtani, it makes 0 sense. You're taking a step back. Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
Why are you laughing?
Because Ohtani's not coming to the Jays.
He's not. I hope
he's going to the Dodgers or the Yankees.
Yeah. You're delusional if you think that Ohtani's going to the Jays. Just as delusional as Gregg Popovich is, because if you guys haven't seen this, he's the coach, obviously, for the San Antonio Spurs. Legend of the game. Iconic game. I lost a ton of respect for him after this, but we'll discuss. I'll let Justin have his take. But if you haven't seen it, the Clippers were in San Antonio. playing the Spurs, and Kawhi Leonard obviously plays for the Clippers, used to play for the Spurs.
Occasionally plays for the Clippers.
Occasionally plays for the Clippers. And he was being booed by the San Antonio fans, and this is what Pop did.
Excuse me for a second.
Pop's on the mic.
Stop all the booing, let these guys play. It's got no class. It's not who we are. Knock off the booing.
Pop telling the fans to lay off Kawhi Leonard. But that's not San Antonio.
Well, I don't believe I've ever seen that.
So old man grabs microphone, starts screaming at people and telling them how to act. And then after the game, he was asked why he did that, and here's his answer.
You don't poke the bear.
But you told the fans that it was.
I just told you why I did it.
What? Can you clarify that though? What?
I spoke English. I just told you. Anybody that knows anything about sports knows you don't poke the bear. That's my answer.
All right, Justin, you heard that. You saw it. You heard it all. Was he right to tell the fans not to boo?
First of all, that camera guy in the post-game press conference, the camera just shaking the whole time. He was even scared of Gregg Popovich. Look, man, this is the NBA now. This is the NBA.
What
right?
does that mean?
Coddling superstars. Don't boo Kawhi Leonard. This, that, and the third. Look, Kawhi Leonard did not want to play for the San Antonio Spurs anymore, Albert. Is that a fact? Yes or no?
No, it's true, yeah.
Yes. So he said, I don't want to play for the San Antonio Spurs anymore. Did him and Gregg Popovich have a great relationship? Yes. Is Gregg Popovich one of the most beloved coaches in basketball? Yes. But, and I know Gregg Popovich is a smart guy. Sometimes he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. When you go out there and you stand up for players like that, and you go against the fans, because a lot of times now in the NBA, it's the players are against the fans, right? There's that kind of that thing where NBA Twitter is very toxic. Fans and the players, they're not really on the same page a lot. I think Gregg Popovich is kind of appeasing himself to superstar players. Like, hey, I still got your back. I'm a player's coach. Now, that's what the NBA is, Albert. Look, this also reminded me of, I think it was like back in the 80s or whatever, when that Cleveland Brown or Cincinnati Bengals coach grabbed the mic and said, stop throwing beer bottles, right? Fans are going to boo whoever they want to boo. You pay your ticket to get into the arena. You can boo whoever the hell you want to boo. You can boo your team, the opposing team, the coaches, whoever. You can boo whoever you want. You are a fan. Fan is short for fanatic, right? You could do whatever you want to do. Spurs fans are hurt because once Kawhi Leonard left, the team went into the tube and they've had any promise since they finally got Victor Wembanyama, right? Gregg Popovich never want to trade Kawhi Leonard, right? He's also trying to take the attention away from the fact that his team is 3-11 on the season, right? Not, again, another loss or whatever. He's taking the attention away from his players, his young players, right? He's putting all the attention on him so his players can get a pass, right? So they don't have to answer the tough questions or whatever with the media. So when I look at Gregg Popovich, it's all calculated. There's a reason he did this. He's not some senile old man that just decided, I'm going to go do this, right? He's a very calculated individual. Gregg Popovich, with those halftime interviews or whatever on the court, he always gives us one-word answers. With the media, he acts very smart, almost too smart, like he's a genius, right? Everything Gregg Popovich does is calculated, and this was just another calculated move by Gregg Popovich.
He got the calculations wrong on this one. Let's be completely honest. This is, to me, honestly, fireable offense.
They're not gonna.
Any other coach in the NBA, maybe bar Steve Kerr, and maybe that's it, I think will get fired. You're going to go and tell the fans who pay their hard-earned money to go watch a game at a sporting event what to say and what to do. They're not yelling, racist remarks or obscene things and throwing beer bottles at Kawhi Leonard. They're just booing him. And you're going to step up there, grab the mic mid-game and say, knock it off like you're somebody's father? Don't act like that. We're better than that. What about how you acted post-game?
But he always does that.
Doesn't matter. You're talking about class. How classy is that post-press conference?
But that's who he is.
He said, am I not speaking English? Do you want me to make up an answer? Don't poke the bear? What the hell does that even mean? But they're booing because the player left. This happens in every sport with every team.
Huh?
When a superstar leaves and he comes back, you boo him. That's just the way it's going to be. And I meant, like, Kevin Durant got it. LeBron James got it. This is just what happens, right?
Albert, this is not the NBA. Now, the NBA is
hold on. It doesn't matter. You cannot be doing that. And listen, if you're ownership of San Antonio, and you're like, what the hell is this guy doing? The customer is always right. They're paying his salary. They're paying the team's salary by buying those tickets. That's what's happening. And you're telling them how to act. And I love the fact that they booed even harder after they did that. And, like, who does Pop think he is?
He's Gregg Popovich.
I get it. But the team is horrible. They have 3 wins. You're not going anywhere. And there's this thought that the only way Victor Wembanyama is going to turn out to be as great as everyone thinks he will be is under Pop. If you take Pop out of the equation, he's still going to be a great player. Okay, is he going to get some better mentorship? For sure from Pop, because he's done it with David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. Kawhi Leonard. But I think he's gotten so comfortable there that he feels like he can do whatever he wants. He grabbed a microphone in the middle of the game and told the crowd how to act. Who does that?
Albert.
That doesn't happen. That's not normal behavior.
It's the NBA. There is no,
I don't care that it's it. That means nothing.
That's the thing.
That
but
means
in
nothing.
the NBA, you know when we talk about the NFL that nobody's bigger than the shield, right? In the NBA, everybody's bigger than the game of basketball. Pop is the San Antonio Spurs. When you think of the San Antonio Spurs, you think of Tim Duncan and Gregg Popovich. When you think of the Lakers, right? You think of Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Phil Jackson, Pat Riley. When you think of the Miami Heat, Pat Riley comes to mind right away, right?
But he's not grabbing the microphone and telling the crowd how to act.
The NBA is such a league where they allow this to happen, right?
Okay.
Adam Silver allows this to happen. Has Adam Silver came out once and talked about this at all? No.
No, not yet.
He allows this to happen. This is the league that Adam Silver allows to happen. So that is up to the league. Gregg Popovich feels so comfortable he can do whatever he wants in San Antonio, and that's on the league. If I'm the league, I got to step in and you got to fine him or suspend him. You can't have a coach do that. That's imagine Darko Rajakovic doing that.
Fired.
I mean, I don't think he ever has the
He would
gumption.
be fired.
He doesn't have the gumption.
He
to do
would
that.
be
I mean,
fired,
he should get
Justin.
fired
This is what I'm
anyway.
saying.
He's going to get fired anyway for what he's doing.
Pop
right
thinks
now.
he's playing on a different field. I wouldn't be surprised one day we're going to see Pop in a robe and slippers on the sideline just walking around with a cup of coffee.
And
He's that comfortable.
He'd
It's not
still get
good.
away with
He
it.
can't be that comfortable. Then he puts his hands out. He's like, stop, like an old man. Anyway, Pop, just relax, okay? Just take it
It's not
easy.
comfortable times in Chicago. Again, a struggling rebuilding franchise around Connor Bedard, who is now leading the league in rookie scoring. But they've hit some injuries. Corey Perry is not playing for mysterious reasons. Taylor Hall is now out for the season with a knee injury. So, Albert, my question to you is, should the Blackhawks sell off some of those assets to acquire a top-line forward to play with Connor Bedard?
It's tough to say, but they have to do Bedard right. They brought in Taylor Hall to play with him on the top line. Obviously, Taylor Hall, great player. Hart Trophy winner, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, but he's done for the season. Bedard's on a 50-goal pace. He's getting better and better every single game, but he's got no one to play with. Who's on his top line? Lucas, Reichel, and Kurashev. After that, it's a steep drop-off. The problem is, if you're the Blackhawks, you're a franchise who's in a retool/rebuild. You don't want to give up much, right, to acquire a player. But I think they need to do right by Bedard and find somebody who's a top 6 forward who can play on that line with him. I mean, can he carry that line? Sure, but I think he needs a bit more with him. And if you're losing Corey Perry, which maybe that could possibly happen, we don't know really what's happening with Corey Perry. I'm hearing rumors that he might be traded to Edmonton to spark that dressing room. Can that happen? I'm not sure. He's making $4 million. Maybe the Blackhawks eat some of that salary and he moves out the door. But I think the Blackhawks need to find a way to bring another top six guy to play with Bedard.
Just tank, bro. Tank and get another Vancouver at Macklin celebrating the first.
But you don't want to stunt the growth of your superstar.
Look, they did it before. They'll do it again. You get a couple high first-round draft picks in Taves and Kane. Look what happens.
No, it's true.
You end up building a dynasty. Right? It's proven to work before in Chicago. It's fine. You don't need to sell off any assets yet. When you're finally starting to contend and push for a playoff spot and want to make a run, then you sell off assets. Right now, you're still in the beginning of a rebuild. You don't accelerate that by trading assets for guys who are older. Fit the timeline of your team. Go tank. Get Macklin Celebrini, another young player from Boston College who's going to be the first overall pick. Pair him with Connor Bedard and watch.
But it's not that easy, right? It's not like the NFL. Just because you finish last doesn't mean you get a first pick.
It's
a
not.
lottery.
But look, you're going to get a top pick in the draft, right?
And
again, you're going to get another foundational piece.
But I'm just thinking about this season. But I'm with you. Do not sell off assets for a player. But if there's someone floating around you can get on the cheap to bring on the top 6 or whatever, the first line with Bedard, then go after it. Okay, let's wrap up the show, and I'll give you the final word. Your Seahawks took an ass whooping by the 49ers, led by CMC and your boy, Brock Purdy, who you want to talk about right now.
Yeah. Albert, there's a lot of expectations, a lot placed on teams in sports, right? You know, the Toronto Maple Leafs have a lot of expectations to win a Stanley Cup because they have great pieces around them, right? Patrick Mahomes, every time he plays, steps on the field, he expects to win and to win a Super Bowl because he's the best quarterback in football.
Right.
We look at the Golden State Warriors, the elite of the Milwaukee Bucks, the best teams, they expect to win championships, right? When you look at the San Francisco 49ers, I saw that game last night. I watched it from start to finish. It was a massacre. It's very clear the Seattle Seahawks are a very good team, but Geno Smith is not a quarterback to lead this team. So we know that in this draft going forward, Michael Penix Jr. from Washington is the pick. We need Michael Penix Jr. to be wearing a Seattle Seahawks jersey, potential Heisman winner. That is what the Seahawks need. But Brock Purdy, you got the biggest, easiest ride to a Super Bowl. If you do not lead this team to a Super Bowl, this San Francisco 49ers team with Christian McCaffrey, maybe the best offensive player in football besides the quarterback, Deebo Samuel, the most unique wide receiver in football, Trent Williams, the best left tackle in football, Brandon Ayuk is proving that he can be a game breaker at the wide receiver position, George Kittle, a perennial all-pro tight end, and that's just on the offensive side of the football. You have Fred Warner, you have Nick Bosa, you have Chase Young now. You have Eric Armstead. You have the best defensive line or best collection of talent on the defensive line. You have Kyle Shanahan, whose game plan might be the most brilliant game plan in football today. Kyle Shanahan took Jimmy Garoppolo and his sorry ass to the Super Bowl, right? Brock Purdy, you are not the MVP. You are a good quarterback, but let's face it. If Geno Smith was on the San Francisco 49ers, they'd probably have the same record, and they'd be favorites to be in the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy, if the San Francisco 49ers do not make the Super Bowl this year, it is an outright failure for this collection, this roster. And once again, Albert, the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers won one Super Bowl. How many playoff failures did they have? A lot. And that's what a lot of people remember about Aaron Rodgers. But why are we not remembering the consistent playoff failures from the San Francisco 49ers? Consistently having one of the best rosters in football and never able to win a title. Brock Purdy, you got the best ticket, the best keys to the best car in football. And if you, Brock Purdy, cannot make the big throws in the playoffs and do anything of the sort to get this team to the Super Bowl like Jimmy Garoppolo did, you have failed. Kyle Shanahan, you have failed. John Lynch, you have failed. If this team does not make the Super Bowl at least, it is a failure once again because they are that damn good.